My name is Jean-Marc from Funding Gates, and what we're going to cover today is how to set up effective targeted outreach campaigns to get paid. And basically, it all starts with a systematic outreach campaign for each segment of customers. The more targeted you are for each segment or cluster of companies and customers you're reaching out to, the higher the response rate, right? So for example, one segmentation or cluster of companies that you're reaching out to might be, customers that are 60 to 90 days past due, have over $100,000 in past due invoices. Their disposition is that they have billing issues and are on an installment plan. You haven't reached out to in over 30 days. They're based in the US and you're selling them product or service XYZ. So the more targeted this segmentation is, so you're creating filters and segmentations of your customers, the more targeted of an outreach campaign you can create, which consists typically of a payment reminder and a phone call a week, right? And then basically adding additional tasks on top of that, whether it's sending snail mail, faxes, connecting on LinkedIn, sending LinkedIn messages, maybe even in-person visits, right? But you need to create first a segment of customers and then create a targeted outreach campaigns for this particular customer segment. Step two is you need to specialize your analysts for each of those segments because there's otherwise a lot of context switching. An analyst that focuses on this set of customers, that outreach campaign for these sets of customers is completely different than different sets of customers that are, for example, 1 to 30 days late and, have only $20,000 in outstanding invoices and have no billing issues and no installment plans, et cetera, right? So to the extent possible, you want to specialize your analysts so that they can really focus on getting the maximum out of this campaign, right? And also iterating and A/B testing different campaigns with different call scripts, different payment reminders, and so forth. So here's a sample outreach campaign consisting of phone calls, payment reminders. Again, the content purely depends on how you're segmenting out your customers and the cluster of companies. But this is kind of high level in terms of what type of touch points and how frequently those touch points should be in order to maximize the chances of getting paid. So typically a day after sending an invoice, call up the customer. If a voicemail, then send an electronic email, right? And then also send a thank you email, right? When the customer confirmed the receipt of the invoice. 2 days before the due date, send a friendly reminder reminding the customer that the invoice is about to become past due in 2 days, right? 5 to 10 days beyond terms, send a friendly reminder, follow up with a phone call, right? And always keep a record of everything that's going on so that nothing falls through the cracks. 11 to 20 days, send a second friendly payment reminder, place a second phone call, right? Again, keep a record of everything that you're doing. So that you also know what type of touch points and how frequently those touch points need to be in order to increase the chances of getting paid, right? So the more information like that you can collect, the more efficient you are going to be at managing those customer relationships going forward. 21 to 30 days, these are a couple of examples. Send a third payment reminder and phone call. Again, keep a record of everything. 31 to 45 days, again, you reach out to the customer with phone calls and payment reminders. You can also remind the customer that the credit limit will be adjusted. Late payments might be reported to credit bureaus. Again, keep a record of everything. 46 to 60 days, place another phone call, payment reminder, perhaps put the customer on credit hold or offer an installment plan to the customer, right? Over 60 days accounts, maybe consider putting the account on, the watch list and maybe sending it to a third-party collections agency, Always organize the documents and files for each segment, past correspondences, invoices, previous statements, disputed items, any proofs, etc., so that when you're calling up the customer again, that you have all the information at your fingertips when you're talking to the customer. That's it for today, and stay tuned for more tips. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from you.